What's good, gamers? Bloodoff941 here, not with another weapon review video just yet, that's the next one. But for now, I wanted to just throw together a quick overall thoughts on the new dungeon, Vesper's Host. Nothing too crazy today, but before we get too far into the video, if y'all can click like and hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be sick. I put out 2 videos a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at noon Eastern, and I'd appreciate you sticking around for all the ones that I got coming in the future. Thanks! I have a very good segue for this, so let's just get right into it. The opening encounter, teaching you how the new operator and scanner roles have changed since Deepstone Crypt is okay. On our first run, Coolden and I got a little stuck trying to parse what was going on, but I think we were just expecting more complexity than just shoot the panels that turn white on your radar. I thought there must have been an order or something, and we eventually got through it through trial and error, and I think I learned the wrong lesson. But yeah, no, apparently there's no complexity, you just shoot the panels, move on. Pretty easy. The first looted encounter, activation, is pretty simple. Go through the rooms, kill aliens, scan and operate the right panels, bring the nuke back to the center, kill the brig, dunk the nuke, and repeat twice. It's pretty much a combat gauntlet, and I like combat gauntlets. On Master, this is enough of a test to get the blood pumping a bit, but on Normal, it's a cakewalk, which, to be clear, isn't a problem at all. It's a decent opening, and it lets you get used to the way the nukes behave here as opposed to DSC. Pretty good as an opening, and I think like you're activating the AI or whatever. I don't really know all the story stuff behind this yet, so if you're curious about that, talk to Bife, but from what I can tell, it's pretty cool. The maze leading up to the first boss is a little time consuming, and not having a loot chest at the end doesn't really help it all that much. There's zero urgency on Normal, and it's probably more of an exercise in map memorization than anything. Think the maze in Pit of Heresy, just with a giant servitor doing its best to vomit on you, and not spinning spiky pillars or swinging lanterns that one-shot you. I'm not really a fan, but it's no more than a speed bump, so it's fine. Killing that servitor is pretty cool, though. The Ranix fight introduces the suppressor augment in its new form. You press your grenade button, and it summons a decoy. Destroying the decoy suppresses enemies within a certain range. Doing so to Ranix dismembers him into individual servitors with different numbers in their names. The goal is to find the 2 servitors with glowing eyes and remember the numbers that they have. Once you do that twice, you then go down to the first floor that you started at, take the operator augment, and shoot the corresponding panels near the entrance to the boss arena, leading into an actual damage phase. So, normally, boss damage loadouts have a focus on single target damage output. Snipers, linears, 1-2 punch shotguns, swords, grenade launchers hitting direct impact on one target, etc., right? But this fight breaks the mold significantly. Once you get to the damage phase, you dismember him again, and it breaks into the 9 smaller servitors once more, but this time they're actually vulnerable. And they all share one big health bar. 9 hitboxes, 1 health bar. Meaning that they get hit multiple times, at least the health bar does, by splash damage options. So, Glacial Quake, of all things, is now a top damage option for this encounter, because of how shatters overlap and hit multiple targets. I've always considered heavy wave frame grenade launchers to be overkill and not worth it. If you wanted to use your heavy for clearing out multiple targets, just use a machine gun. They're infinitely more ammo efficient. But the Ranix fight is a perfect example of how weapons don't need to be buffed in order to be useful. They just need specific instances where they shine. Dimensional Hypotrochoid? I think that's how you say it, Hypotrochoid. With Envious and One For All is a top tier option in this specific instance without getting any buffs, since each wave hits multiple servitors at once. There's something going on with multiple ignitions. The original time that we went through this, I used Dragon's Breath because we didn't know the numbers behind it, but apparently this boss takes significantly reduced damage from consecutive ignitions. And I think, like, this boss specifically, it makes sense that it would have that amount of DR on it, because I imagine they tried to do this with just out any of that DR, and the boss's health bar just disappeared like that. So instead of, like, giving it a shitload of health to compensate, they just gave it a bunch of damage resistance. But then that has also leaked out into other fights and other bosses, so that's like a bug. Makes sense for Ranix, doesn't make sense for the rest of them, in my opinion. So just keep in mind, if you didn't know, that is currently going on. This is a very, very cool encounter and a fun switch up in how we even do things. Good shit, Bungie. The final boss, the Corrupted Puppeteer, is where I start to have issues. The day the dungeon dropped, I saw people saying that they prefer Vesper's final boss over Ghost of the Deep's final boss, because that one felt like a slog and this one doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't get that take. So many things in this fight just take time, man. You gotta kill the puppets in the start to get all the augments. Then you gotta figure out which numbered panel to shoot. Don't forget to dunk the augments on the terminal before you go down, otherwise you have to hunt down the fallen hold the augments you need. Then get to the room, shoot the panels, scan the clones, dunk the nuke, go to the next room, do it again. Then you get to return to the surface, where you now get to do the DPS, but it's the witness's damage phased area on crack, since the lightning keeps striking down, the clones keep running at you, and the boss is shooting you with a line rifle, and the clones explode sometimes. Then make sure you listen for the ticking clone that drops the nuke that you put in the side room once the door opens. You can keep doing damage and not get wiped by the wave of death, and do it again until you kill the motherfucker. So many different things to pay attention to and take care of. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. I want a challenge, and this has it. I just don't understand how this doesn't feel like a slog, but killing the Lightbearer Hive and lining up some symbols to deal damage with no wait time is. I'm embellishing to make my point, sure, just confused by this take is all. Aesthetically, it's pretty cool. The horrendous cable management that's all over the place, like spiderwebs and eggs, is an extremely cool way to translate the tech-focused vibe to something that still feels organic and terrifying. I'm a big fan of that. I don't really care for the armor. It's fine. Nothing special. I think the hunter helmet looks cool. That's about it. If I had gotten enough weapons to speak on them, I would, but nothing really stands out for me at the moment since I don't really feel like I need to farm for anything in particular. I've got a couple of good grenade launchers, so getting a perfect chill inhibitor isn't something I care for. Side note, why are we losing our minds over a poorly done study that proved there's perk waiting going on in the dungeon to prevent people from getting the god roll? It's RNG. It's what happens. Bungie doesn't have to respond to you. They don't owe you anything. Grow up. I haven't gotten Icebreaker yet either, so I can't speak to that, but from what I've seen, it seems alright. It's a unique frame of sniper rifle with stasis and solar interactions. Pretty fucking nifty. Overall thoughts on the dungeon, I like it. I'm a big fan of this one, and big surprise, right? I'm expecting the solo experience to kick the ever-living shit out of me if I give it a shot in a few months. But for now, it's nice to have an endgame activity to do weekly to get some cool stuff again. And I'm still, you know, refining my strategy with Cool Dude and getting ourselves through it, right? It's nice to have a new dungeon to play with again. So, good shit, Bungie. But with that, that's going to be it for me today. Just a short one, nothing too crazy. What are y'all thinking about the new dungeon? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it? That's not mine. I can't do that. That's stealing. Anything y'all are thinking about, I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.